Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Talk About It Tuesday. I'm your host, Mahlon.
And I'm your other host, Jamie.
And today's article, I'm going to say, is one that I take issue with. So before we get into our opinions, Jamie, would you mind doing the best you can to recap this gigantic article?
This is a very long article. The headline reads, first of all, this comes from the Gazette, which is a paper out of Colorado. I'm not entirely sure if it's Denver, but it definitely comes from Colorado. I looked that up. This is written by Vince Bizdek, and the title reads, The 7 Conspiracy Theories Mucking Up the 2024 Elections. So I think the first thing that I want to say about this article is that it is clearly editorial. So there really is a whole lot of opinion in this article, and he's not ashamed of it, but he is the editor, so he gets to do that. At least it's clear that he's editorializing, I think. I love this because the very first thing you see in this article underneath the headline is the picture of, and I didn't even know this, Mahlon. I have been there several times, and I don't know that I've ever seen this thing. But at the Denver International Airport, there is a massive statue, if you will, of a horse with red eyes. And so this is the picture under the article because apparently the blue Mustang sculpture, commonly known as Blucifer, is believed to have some secret society. It's like an indication to the secret society that lives underneath in the tunnels and dark spaces of the Denver International Airport. So there's conspiracy theory number 1. Not necessarily affecting the election, but this is just one he calls out. So.
Well, and Jamie, not to just add to the whole Blucifer name, which I think is funny, the statue actually killed the person who created it. It fell on him and killed him.
That was not in this, was it?
Yeah, it was it's underneath the article, the main headline. It says, my goodness. What's especially creepy about him is that he killed his creator, Luis Jimenez, when a section of the horse fell on him during construction, fatally severing an artery in his leg.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, well, it is a creepy statue.
It's a horrible statue. And if it does have red eyes, I thought they put the red eyes for effect, but if it has red eyes and it's blue, it should be removed. That's horrible.
No, I think it does have red eyes. I'm pretty sure it actually has red eyes because I had to go look it up because I was like, are you kidding me? It's so weird.
Who would do that? Sorry, I digress.
I don't know. He also goes on to talk about how the Super Bowl recently spawned a whole bunch of rumors and conspiracy theory ideas. For instance, one of them that I heard, and this is outside of the article, but 2020 brought us the Super Bowl. Was it the Super Bowl in 2020 brought us the same teams? And now we have the same candidates as we did in 2020. The same winner, the same all of it. Yay for repeating history, right? So that was one that I saw. Anyway, it goes on to list the 7 conspiracies. And I take a tiny bit of, well, maybe I don't. Maybe I should retract that before I even go. I think that it's important to understand that this is an editorial. Personally, I do not believe that every Republican I know believes in conspiracy theories. However, I do feel like all of these conspiracy theories that he has listed are definitely ones that seem to rest in the Republican side of the party. I am positive that my Democrat friends believe in conspiracy theories too. I just can't think of any, but here's what he's got listed for this one.
Well, and I'm going to put just a little bit of caveat out there as the, I guess, the resident Republican representative. I do think that I personally love conspiracy theories. I love listening about them. I think there's interest there, especially when you can see there's a grain of truth in them. Some of these conspiracies, though, that you get to, they're a stretch. And I think any Republican or Democrat would be able to say, okay, this might be a conspiracy theory, but how probable is it? I mean, as much as you are sitting on one side of the aisle or not, anybody with, I think, a grain of common sense would be able to listen to these and go, okay, that's interesting to hear as a conspiracy theory, not really rooted in fact. I just wanted to put that out there because the way this gentleman wrote this article, all of us Republicans are out there just waiting for the rain to drown us as we're looking up at the sky because we're that, we don't have brains in our head.
This is an opinion piece, people. It's an opinion piece. Just saying. Okay, so the first conspiracy theory that they talked about was the Great Replacement theory. This is one that believes that there's some intentional immigration happening in the United States in order to diminish the white population so that they want to overthrow the current election. So the Great Replacement theory is one of them. Similarly, there is a prominent conspiracy theory that has resurfaced that Jewish people are promoting hatred against whites and bringing hordes of minorities. These are all in air quotes on the article. This falls back on some really old, I think, racial bias and things like that about Jewish people and their role in secret societies that are running the world underneath the radar. There's also here's a good one. 1 in 3 Republicans in a recent poll said they believe that Taylor Swift's romance with Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce was fabricated by the government in order to help get Biden reelected. So there's that. I know. It's not cited.
Just a second. I have no beef with Taylor Swift. My personal opinion, does she belong? I mean, she goes to a football game and that's what the football game becomes. Should she not be allowed to go to a football game? I'm not going to go there. But here's something that I think is really funny. Nowhere did I ever think that Taylor Swift would come up as a topic in our podcast just because of what our podcast is for. So here's a testament to her popularity is that even amongst conspiracy theorists, they can't help but talk about her. I'm amazed at number 3 because I'll also segue here for a second. I was also told that Mount Rushmore is going to be rebuilt and they're going to take one of the president's faces off and they're going to replace it with Taylor Swift. Now, how probable is that? How likely is that? But again, people are talking.
You know what? Welcome to the podcast, Taylor Swift. Thank you for joining us because we never thought you would. So thank you for that. Well, and even that, 1 in 3 Republicans in a recent poll. I mean, there's no poll listed. There's no citation for it.
Right.
I mean, does he have 6 Republican friends that he polled? This is my question, right?
Were they drinking? Was this a joke that was taken out of context? I don't know.
Right. YouGov polling in December showed that 42% of Republicans believe that many top Democrats are caught up in a child sex trafficking ring. This isn't a new one. This is an old one. This has been circulating forever.
Well, and this, if I remember right, this also impacts, I think they call out Hillary Clinton specifically as being like the mastermind of this. And again, we can go into if are you a supporter or not a supporter of Hillary Clinton. I don't think it matters for the context of this. What is the probability that a wealthy ex-first wife of our country is going to pizza parlors to have giant pedophilia sex rings? It just sounds stupid when you say it out loud.
A man believed so much that this was happening that he drove 6 hours with an AR-15 rifle and opened fire on the pizzeria that they believed this was happening underneath. So, apparently these things have a lot more power on other people than they appear to have on you and I. So there's that. There is also, there's a whole cottage industry of conspiracy theories about Hunter Biden. The deep society is protecting him from all kinds of legislation and such. And that is another one that is going to be cycled through during this election time.
This one that we just went through, number 5, kind of has a little bit of ring of truth. Now, I'm not saying he's guilty or what he's done. I have my own personal beliefs. I'm going to keep them back. But you can't, it's not hard to understand that if you're a president, you're going to do what you can to protect your family. I think you've seen the same thing happen when Trump was in presidency, and he was probably doing something to keep himself or his family protected. Like, to me, this is not something that is brand new. And are they doing illegal actions to do what they can to prevent them from being prosecuted? I don't know. Again, I have my own personal beliefs. But to say that this is just one-sided and it's just Hunter Biden, I think I could probably go back to all the presidents and say when there was situations with their family that were happening, you could almost make those correlations. And so number 5 is probably so far the most practical one that I could say there may be some validity into that one, but I'm not surprised on any side of the aisle.
Right. Well, and I guess, I mean, I have lots of opinions about that too. Let's go on to number 6 because we are in a 15-minute podcast here. This talks about the whole Dominion voting system thing and all of the things that have been going on with the Dominion voting system since 2020. And that this is still going to be coming up in this election. There are, there's been some things in that conspiracy that have, I guess, worked against the validity of that conspiracy theory. He goes on to talk about, Fox News having to pay $800 million and things like that. But it's going to, and I have already heard this is going to be another issue in this election as well.
All I'm going to say to this one is whenever you make anything digital, it always has the ability to be hacked. Doesn't mean it will, but you open yourself up to the at least the opportunity for there to be some fooling around with numbers.
Even though lots and lots and lots of cases have said that the election wasn't rigged and Dominion didn't do anything, but it's okay. It's okay. So number 7, polls generally show around 6 in 10 Republicans continue to believe that the 2020 election was stolen from Trump, despite the complete lack of evidence. See, this is where it gets editorial, where he's like, there's a complete lack of evidence, blah, 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 blah. And, I can agree with that. I have seen over and over again attorney generals from state after state after state saying, no, there's nothing to contest in our elections. But this is going to be coming around again this year. So,
well, and this is the one that I hear the most of probably from everybody. And again, from my circle of friends, this is the one that keeps kind of coming up. And I'm not going to be surprised that this is going to be a topic of conversation in this upcoming election either. And I hope that it is true that our elections are safe, because irregardless, if it's for you or against you, any kind of election tampering or altering is a huge blow to our democracy. And we all should be outraged, absolutely outraged if that's happening, no matter if it's for or against your party.
Yeah. So I think we have a lot of fun to look forward to. I mean, it's early in this election cycle. And who knows what other conspiracies you Republicans are going to be coming. I'm just kidding. just joking.
The gloves are coming off. Okay. Well, at least we're smart enough to think of other things than what people just tell us to think, Jamie. I'm just kidding.
Here's what I love about the article. I'm not going to lie. It tickled my little blue heart to read all of the, kind of jabs, the little passive aggressive jabs at the Republican field as it were forming up at the time. But the important thing for me, and I think the important thing for you, our listeners, is to really scrutinize what you're reading, because this one could have been read as an article. I mean, it comes from a newspaper and has, it has all the pieces of an article, but there's enough subtleties in there that I could tell it was an editorial. And I think that's a big problem in politics, is that we start to go to those sources that we like what they have to say and don't always realize that that's not necessarily news, that that's opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think it's important, as we kind of give a peek behind the curtain on this episode. We actually debated about even doing this, and we decided to bring this editorial on because we wanted to throw some light on there. First of all, conspiracy theories, I love them. I think they're great to talk about. They're interesting. I listen to a couple conspiracy theory podcasts, and I love them so much. With that being said, we want to make sure this segment is around bringing articles that are fact-based and not opinion-based. And so we wanted to highlight that. We wanted to highlight, here's a difference. And we probably aren't going to do this a lot, I don't think, but it was enough to say, let's just bring one of them on just to see what it is. And you can already tell there's more of our conversation around this content than probably a regular article, meaning we're trying to go back and forth a little bit. But it is important to understand the difference between a fact-based article and an opinion, laced opinion piece. And I'm glad we took the opportunity to kind of showcase that here and kind of walk through it. Again, I don't know we'll be doing a lot of these, but it's fun. It was at least fun to kind of walk through and discuss it.
Yeah, I think that, well, and I don't know that all the media outlets are very good at calling themselves out in this way too. So, I think that's something to think about also. When I go to my news outlet of choice, which is CNN, I know that I'm getting a lot of opinion. You know what I mean? I know that that's not, if I want to fact check, I better fact check because what they're saying is what they think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I know that when I go to Fox News that it is nothing but the gospel and truth, and it is completely bulletproof and there is no opinion at all.
Mm-hmm. So when are we meeting in Denver to find the secret society that lives underneath the airport?
No, some of these, I mean, that's what I love about them. They're so crazy. Some of them, you're like, come on, do people really believe there's a secret society underneath the Denver International Airport? Here's what I will say. For those of you that have traveled through DIA, can we all agree what is going on with the art collection there? Have you taken a second to see the art stuff that they have displayed throughout the airport? There are some crazy art pieces. If they have it online, I encourage anybody to go and look it up. The last time I was through there, I remember just staring at some of these pieces being like, why is this here? It was kind of disturbing. So take a look.
Every time I've been at DIA, I swear I'm running from one end of the state of Colorado to the other, trying to hit the plane. That is the largest terminal, and I swear they need to work on their scheduling system because I am always like 5 minutes behind schedule when I land there to connect to my next flight. It's terrible.
Well, that's because they're trying to get as many recruits as possible for the secret society that lives underneath it. So it's by design. It's by design.
They're probably trying to kidnap me in between. Like, that's why those corridors are so long, is so that they can try and snag me while I'm trying to run from one end to the other.
Avoid the pizzerias that are in there. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Okay. This has been a lot of fun, Mahlon.
Yeah, I was going to say now that we're just being goofy. But okay, let's wrap this one up. So we thank everybody for listening to us and talking through this editorial with us. We will be back next week with a brand new article and a whole new set of opinions.
And don't forget to tune in on Thursday for a regular episode of Roundtable Mindset. It will also be full of opinion and lots of interesting information. So join us then. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye.